Hey guys, it's Brett from DoctorWhoGiftsGuide.com here, and today I'm going to be opening up the case of Series 1 Doctor Who Titan vinyl figures that has just shown up on my doorstep. So a quick update for those of you who might not know. The Doctor Who Titans are a series of 3-inch vinyl figures that feature a whole range of characters, both good and bad, from the Doctor Who universe. Now, I only discovered that these things even existed after I had already bought one of the larger 6.5-inch versions, which you can see here. I have my 11th Doctor, Mr. Matt Smith, complete with his sonic screwdriver and all. As you can see, they have more of a kind of a cartoony look than the regular Doctor Who action figures that are out there, but personally I think that's cool. I think it's different, and I really like the way that they look. So now I've never been a huge collector of anything really, but I really do love, as you can see, the detail on these things, and they really are. They have a certain charm to them. I really like them, and I think UK artist Matt Jones, aka I think it's Lunatrix, I think he goes by. Either way, he's done a really brilliant job with these. So once I found out that there was a whole series of smaller figures that I could collect, I made up my mind right then and there that I was going to try and get them all. The one big problem that I discovered though is that with these Titans, they're actually blind box figures, which means they come in a sealed, windowless box, and that means that you can't actually choose the figure that you're going to get. It's completely random. Now, I do understand why some companies would want to market their toys and figures like this, especially for kids, because it's a bit of a surprise. But personally, I found it to be a little bit frustrating. And I know, especially after speaking to some of my friends who are also really big Doctor Who fans, I realised that I wasn't the only one. You see, I think there's 16 figures in each set, if you include I think there's 4 variants. So unless you have X-ray vision, then you're going to need to at least buy, I would say, 25 to 30 of them from different retail stores. And even then, you're not guaranteed to get each one. So to me, it seemed to be a pretty big financial gamble to go into these stores, local. In Australia, it's an ABC store or a comic book store, and buy a whole bunch of these on the off chance that I'm not going to get duplicates. When you think about each of these little boxes here in Australia costs $15 retail to buy, and I think it's something around about £8 in the UK, and I think it's $10 in the US. So that's a pretty big investment to pay each and every time that you go in to buy one of these, despite the fact that you don't know what you're actually going to get. So needless to say, I got a little bit disheartened after I got my hopes up about collecting all of these, because I do love the designs, and I think they're great, and I know exactly where I would put them in my house. Yeah, so I was pretty upset because I wanted to collect them all, but it's a massive risk to take financially speaking. So I sat down and I started to think of ways that I could reduce the chances of getting duplicates. And I wanted to find out if there was actually a more efficient way to collect these things and get the whole set without having to buy your 25, 30, 35 boxes and spending a fortune, while also ending up with countless doubles or duplicates, whatever you want to call them. I actually read in a few different forums online that the best way to buy these little Titan figures is actually in bulk. They come in, you can get them from some individual places in a case of 20, which is exactly like the one you can see here. There are a few different sites online that actually let you order the whole box instead of just buying them individually. And you can actually save quite a bit of money doing it this way, because the better sites actually offer you a big discount when you want to buy that large quantity. So that's certainly something to consider. Anyway, the theory is that because you're getting a full case that hasn't kind of had pieces taken out of it by different customers in a retail store, based on, if you add up the rarity of each figure, as you can see, it's actually just on the side of the box here. Each figure has its own rarity, like 1 in 20. The variants are a little bit higher, a little bit harder to find, sorry. So based on that rarity, you should, in theory, be able to pretty much be guaranteed to get the full base set of 12 figures and maybe a variant or two if you do buy them in a case of 20. Then if you want to go and pick up the last few variants, depending on how serious you are about collecting them, you can just jump on eBay and grab the ones that you're missing. Usually it can work out to be a little bit more expensive because the variants are harder to find, so people ask for a bit of money for them. But anyway, that depends on how serious you are about collecting them. But anyway, yeah, so you get the box of 20, and therefore the theory is that you kind of almost guaranteed to get your 12 base figures and a variant or two. And that's actually why I'm making this video today. I've decided to take the gamble. As you can see, I've bought a case of 20 figures online, and I'm going to test the theory that buying in bulk's not only cheaper, but it's also the smarter way to build your collection. So I figured that even if it's not guaranteed, if the theory is true, then I'm going to save a bunch of money, and I'll know for sure what the best way to go about buying these figures is if they are to release more series in the future. So if I figure this out and it actually works now, I'll know how to buy them in the most efficient way in the future. So long story short, if you want to follow along with me and watch as I test out this theory and unbox all of these 20 figures, then feel free to stay tuned. I'm going to I don't like long videos. I know this has been a little bit too long, this one, but I wanted to explain what I was doing. I'm actually going to open 5 Titan figures per video to try and keep them short and sweet. And hopefully by the end of all of this, I've got the 12 figures and maybe a variant or 2 if I'm really lucky. Finally, if this does work and I do manage to get the whole set and the theory is 100% correct, I'll let you guys know where I bought this case from. And I'll also let you know of the other 2 sites that I've heard of that I know give a pretty decent discount for buying in bulk. So anyway, thanks for putting up with the length of this first video. Stay tuned, there's going to be some unboxing coming up. And fingers crossed, here we go. Don't go anywhere, guys, because there's still plenty of unboxing still to come. Click the video on your screen now to be taken to the next part of the series. And while you're at it, why don't you hit the subscribe button and join our YouTube channel.